Namaskar, I am Dr. Amarendra Pandey. I am the National Secretary General of IDAQ, Indian Doctors and Dermatologists Against Quackery. I would like to introduce all of you to our esteemed panel. We have ethical doctors from all over India, most of whom are dermatologists. We have our National President, Dr. Varun Tyagi sir from Delhi. We have Dr. Rajetha Damisetty ma'am from Hyderabad. She needs no introduction. We have Dr. Akshay Samagani from Bangalore. We have Dr. Karthik from Chennai. And we have Dr. Nitin Jain from Pune. At the outset, I would like to clarify to all our general public that this fight against quackery is for the patient's rights. It's for the innocent patient. It's not for us doctors. And what we expect from every one of you is to complain against the quacks and the quackery. At the ground level, the patient needs to rise up, needs to wake up and file these complaints, because it is this quackery that is pulling our nation down. It is preventing our nation from becoming a developed nation. All the contagious diseases, all the communicable diseases are spreading because of quackery. And a country like India still has tuberculosis, leprosy, fungal infection, so many communicable diseases. So without wasting much time, I will first start off by asking Dr. Rajetha Damisetty ma'am how her journey in anti-quackery has been and how vehemently she was attacked by trolls and how she managed to come on top after all of that. She was attacked personally and all she wanted to do was work for the patient's rights. So, Rajetha ma'am, please tell us your journey.
So my journey started many years ago when I started seeing patients with pretty bad side effects, and they were victims of quackery. So with that, I started gathering information about them, and I started writing and making representations to the medical council and to the district medical and health officers, as they are called in Telangana. And during this process, of course, I had a team of dermatologists who were a part of our Indian Association of Dermatologists, that is IADVL, and we together did the rounds around these government offices. Not much happened for the longest time. And luckily for us, Telangana Medical Council became an elected council, and they started taking cognizance of our complaints. And they saw the merits of our complaints, and then they started conducting raids, and that gave us some more impetus. And during this process, it was going on at a not very great level. Locally, there would be clinics which are closing down. They would again reopen with new permissions. Some of them were illegal permissions, some of them were legal permissions. And dermatologists were suddenly in demand, and then all that was going on. So during this process, I was once called for an interview or a podcast. And during that, and this happened to be a few weeks after 2 deaths happened in Kanpur after hair transplantation. And both these hair transplants were done by a BDS doctor, or normally somebody we would call as a dentist. So in this 1 hour long, free-flowing, unscripted conversation, I made a statement in which I said that I would want these people to be referred to as dentists rather than doctors, so that this distinction was clear in the minds of the lay public. Now, if only these two engineers who died, engineers in their 30s, who were working in Kanpur in the government sector, if they knew that this particular lady was a dentist and not a dermatologist or a plastic surgeon, would they have gone to her? Would they have lost their lives? Would their 4 children have become orphans? So this was the thought process that made me make this statement. And then that opened the Pandora's box, and then that led to tens of videos being made on me, questioning my credentials, my character, my practice, everything I stood for, and it caused a lot of distress to my friends and family, and it also led to thousands of trolls commenting on various social media platforms. So at this point of time, basically what they wanted was an apology, and I did apologize, because the idea was never to hurt. Dentists were ethical, it was not to hurt anyone. It was basically to create clarity in the minds of patients. So during this process, I went to the medical council, I went to the dental council, and then I lodged a FIR, we approached cybercrime, and I had huge support from hundreds of dermatologists in Telangana and thousands of dermatologists across the country. And thanks to all these things, it led to some very important public notices being issued by both the Telangana Dental Council and Telangana Medical Council, and that has led to a chain reaction. Following a landmark public notice by the Telangana Medical Council, now the Karnataka Medical Council has followed suit, and then a lot of clarity has come. One of the most important things being that BDS people should not call themselves cosmetologists. That cosmetology is not a medical specialty, it is basically what a beautician does, and it involves things like cutting hair and coloring hair and doing makeup and things like that. It is not what a doctor does, and no BDS person should be calling themselves a cosmetologist or getting into anything related to skin and hair. One more important clarification that came was because there was a point of time when MDS, max fax surgeons or oral and maxillofacial surgeons were actually instructed by the dental council that they could do hair transplant and facial aesthetic procedures. Telangana Medical Council had sought a clarification from NMC, that's the National Medical Commission, and then they gave a very important landmark public notice saying that MDS people are not supposed to be doing this, and Karnataka Medical Council has now followed suit. Of course, this is a matter that is sub judice. IADVL and Indian Dermatologists Associations are actually fighting it in 2 high courts even as we speak. But I am so glad that thanks to this personal battle that I had to put up, some amount of clarity has come in this space.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your experience. But what I would like to comment on this is that no matter how hard these trolls and these quacks try, they are never going to deter our spirit to fight against quackery. Next, I would like to ask the founding chairperson, the person who came up with this idea of forming an association of doctors to fight against quackery, Dr. Varun Tyagi sir, to enlighten us about how things are in Delhi, how things are in North India, and what led him to take this decision to make such an association, and why are dermatologists the worst sufferers and dermatology the branch which is being targeted the most? Please tell us.
Yeah, I was working with the Medical Council of Delhi in the Anti-Quackery wing from year 2014 to 2016. And when I visited various clinics for the regular rates, we found out that the maximum number of times patients who are suffering from skin diseases were treated like guinea pigs at these clinics. There were rampant practice of prescribing steroid ointments, steroid tablets, and nobody was giving any heed to the growing resistant fungal infections and growing menace of acne that was induced due to steroid applications, and worsening phases of females. Those melasma were turning into nightmares for them. So I started raising this question in our IADVL organization. People were very supportive and they were very helpful. But due to certain legal foundations and some administrative reasons, things could not be taken to a suitable end. So then next step was to form a WhatsApp group with the like-minded dermatologists, ethical practitioners across the India who can come to a common platform, and then we can discuss all these things so that we can ask our mother organization to include more and more activities towards focusing on the anti-quackery action of IADVL. And then in May 2023, we formed this group by the name of Doctors Against Quackery. Then we changed the name to Doctors and Dermatologists Against Quackery. But when it became a pan-India movement with more than 2,000 members, we changed the name once again to Indian Doctors and Dermatologists Against Quackery. The whole sole motive of this group is to bring quackery to an end, especially in the field of dermatology. Why? Because dermatology, I think, is the most exploited branch of any specialty available till date in country. In Delhi itself, there are around 8,000 quack clinics, and most of them are not even managed by a doctor. They are people who are non-medicos. Leave apart even a BMS or BDS. These are not even doctors or medicos in any sense. So when we started finding out these people, the most important thing which we found was there was no place to complain. Laymen are not aware that we can go to CMHO or to the CMO as we call in Delhi, and there was no effective mechanism available. So we started to form a mechanism under the banner of IDDAQ. We started that thing, and now with IADVL robust structure, we have a full spectrum of activities going against quackery. And I think dermatology as a branch is a very important and a pillar of specialities, because it serves as an interface of human body. As you all know, that skin is the largest organ of the body. And there are so many infections and contagious diseases which happen in the skin. And if it's not taken care properly, it can spread to magnificent levels. So the government is not paying heed because government has many other important things to do, but the patients are suffering. There are so many court cases, as rightly said by Dr. Rajetha. There has been cases against steroid usage and steroid abuse. There has been cases against hair transplant done by unqualified people, but still government does not want to pay heed. So we started this movement, and we want our patients to be protected at any cost, so that no harm should come to the poor patients who do not know what is the difference between a real dermatologist and a fake dermatologist. And IDDAQ promises each and everyone in this country that we will establish ethical dermatology again in this country at whatever cost it may take.
Thank you so much, sir. We would like to inform our viewers that IDDAQ has already set up a national command center in which any patient, any doctor, any medical professional can complain against these quacks, and we take the requisite legal action which needs to be taken. In Madhya Pradesh in the year 2023, we filed a court case which is still going on. Notices have been served with regards to that court case, and about 12 or 13 times the government has taken time to file a reply. The government hasn't even filed a reply, neither has the NMC filed a reply, and neither has the Dental Council filed a reply. And they've set up anti-quackery committees like they should have as per the NMC Act in every district. But again, those anti-quackery committees are not active. Madhya Pradesh becomes the first state to have these committees, but again, on the ground level, there is no work. So our fight still goes on. So in that regard, we'll go over to our next panelist. And I would like to ask Dr. Karthik Raja that he started his fight against quackery front on. We saw him take on quacks on Instagram, where maximum quackery takes place, where people tell about scheduled as drugs and people disclose prescriptions. So we want to hear about his experience and how he thinks his further endeavors will make a change into this whole scenario.
Initially, when I started my practice, PRP is commonly known. It's a very good procedure that will help you to grow hair. But one patient came to me and they told, I don't want to get PRP because I spent 3 lakhs on PRP. I was wondering, who paid 3 lakhs for PRP for 6 sessions? Then I found out that some quack center has cheated them to pay 3 lakh rupees for PRP, which will never cost that much amount of money. Then I ventured into this, and saw, I was not active in Instagram, I was not a social media person. Then I was tech savvy but not into social media, but when I went to saw on Instagram, they were like people selling left, right and center, unethical, unproven medical procedures and medications, absolute nonsense, and marketing themselves as specialists who are not even doctors, not dentists, not BAMS, BHMS, nothing. They are +2 pass or fail, no one knows. They were there selling PRP for 30,000, 40,000 per session. That is what got me angry, and that is when I started to fight them. They were on Instagram, so I had to fight them there. They threatened me in some places, and we have given them notices, and they just kept quiet. Then nothing happened. It's not working. Then nothing happened. Obviously, they were in the illegal. They were on the illegal side. See, what I would like to say to everyone is, quackery is like corruption. You cannot eradicate it, but it should be behind doors. Nowadays, what they are doing is they are coming in the front. They are rightly telling that they are the right people to do these kind of procedures, aesthetics. Name of aesthetics, they do everything. That is what we want to eradicate. We want to protect the people from these kind of unethical procedures, unethical things. See, if somebody doesn't know how to drive a bike, but they don't have license, and if they drive a bike, it is a crime. Similarly, if they don't have a license and if they practice, they will definitely do harm than good. So we need to have licenses for people who do whatever they are doing. Let it be driving, let it be becoming a doctor, let it be becoming a dermatologist. So whatever they do, if they have proper training and it is maintained as a licensure, like how National Medical Commission does for dermatology and every other branch, if they have a license, then the chance of them doing a mistake is very less. So that is why, as the public, to look for the licenses of the doctor whom you are getting treated to. Before paying money, it is your right to ask for their medical council register number and check in the website of your respective state's medical council whether they are what they claim to be. That is where the patients have the right to do that. And if you start to ask those questions, definitely this question will go into data. That's all I want to say.
Thank you so much, sir. As you have rightly pointed out, that many of us came onto the social media and started to oppose the quacks because the latent shamelessness which they were promoting themselves in, and because of our patients. So I came into this anti-quackery war because one of my vitiligo patients, which I have shown in all my presentations, which we had managed quite well, and it had become a case of stable vitiligo wherein the lesions are not growing and even the patient's disease is in check and control. That patient went to a quack. They tried to treat the quack with some homeopathy, some Ayurveda. They were not qualified in that field either. And later on, that patient had the active disease back again, and the patient's fiancé left her, and she then tried to commit suicide because of that trauma. So imagine how quackery can spoil people's homes also. And if educated people like us don't go out into the open and don't oppose this, then who will? You are absolutely right, even murders are not eradicated, but everyone knows that if you commit a murder, ultimately you will be caught and you can be hanged also by the neck until death. But unfortunately for quackery, the laws exist, but they are not being implemented due to various influences, political influences, social influences. And imagine huge platforms like Instagram and Facebook are actually feeding their, filling their coffers and feeding their economies through quackery, because they're not stopping this, which can be easily done in the time of AI, that only people who are qualified should be allowed to make reels and videos, but no one cares because that is a revenue generation model for them. So with that, I'll move on to our next panelist, Dr. Akshay Samagani. He's done a wonderful job in Karnataka, wherein he's made a whole map of Karnataka district-wise, and they've gone on to complain to the various district health officers and to the various collectors. So first of all, I would like Dr. Akshay to tell our viewers that how to go about a complaint, how to file a complaint, who do you need to get a complaint filed, can any layman file a complaint, and what good does filing a complaint do in the long run, and how his battle with quackery has been so far, and what are his future plans. Dr. Akshay.
So the quackery has been our biggest problem in recent days, not just to the the patients. It's for the general population, like how the tinea is spreading recently because of steroidal abuse. So similarly, the aesthetics branch has become something everybody want to do and want to treat patients in related to skin and hair related issues. So in that situation, when patients have any doubt, must definitely ask for the qualification of the doctors and find out what qualification do they have. Is it registered in their state medical councils, respective state medical councils, and they have to check whether they have done their clinics registered under their state clinical establishment act, or in the state will have their own ways and means of registering of the acts. So never you should feel hesitate about asking the qualification as well as the certification of the doctors. Along with that, they have to complain if they are in doubt. So if they are having any issues regarding the treatment, and if they are having any problems with qualification and the issues, they have to approach to the district health officers as a complaint. A written complaint is sufficient enough to file before the honorable DHOs and DCs. Along with that, if they are registered under medical councils, they have to be, their complaint has to go to the medical councils. And if they are like non-specialists, like those who treat aesthetics, which they are not in their domain, like homeopathy, Ayurveda, and so on, the same complaint has to be given to the respective councils. With that, We have fought with all of these quacks through and through, but the problem here is we give complaint and it is not responded properly. Most of the state medical councils fail to even respond to us, even acknowledging what we have filed, and most of the situation they won't act even though they are supposed to act. The National Medical Council guidelines, Code of Medical Ethics, and as well as many of such acts are very clear in this regard that they have to act on such complaints within 6 months of the receival of the complaint. But most of the medical councils, due to burden, and most of the medical council would not like to act on such situations, have failed the system as a whole, in which ordinary patients will be affected. In this, what we can do is we have struggled enough to create an awareness among patients and their relatives. But the problem here is the system has decayed our the health infrastructure completely with respect to skin health. These many days, India as a developing country was more worried about communicable diseases, leprosy, TB. But this is a hidden, the way in which the cosmetology, the industry is growing every day. Every 10th pass, 12th pass in non-MBBS, some MBBS, and some of dentists most of the dentists are ethically practicing, plus few dentists who are running behind the glamour, running behind the money behind this huge industry, are crossing their limits and trying to encroach the aesthetics part, which is related to more of hair and skin. So that has to be avoided. We respect each other boundaries, and that in that case, so we have to respect each other, and the skin and hair health has to be whatever dermatological procedures, hair transplant has to be done by MCH, plastic surgery, or dermatology, MD, DNB, DVD, and so on, only by those NMC recognized degrees. If you want to complain, kindly complain. Patient should never hesitate about such things. One important, important weapon among all patients, if they find that they are not qualified enough, they can complain to the consumer courts as well, where you need not spend anything. So these are the options which are available to us. And the problem with Karnataka, we faced huge quacks throughout all districts, including small districts, where they charge 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 1 lakh for even small surgeries. And one of the dentists who does a patient thinks that, sees a board that it's a dento skin clinic, goes to that dentist and asks for a skin treatment. That dentist was not able to diagnose a simple dermatological condition called as psoriasis, which is clinically we are able to, just when we see the patient, most of the times we'll be able to diagnose. She was not able to do that, and she does a biopsy, which she would have learned from a 1 week course or 10 days course from one of the trainers who are already a quack. They would learn from a quack, learn a small procedure like biopsy, and the patient spends about 14,000 just for the biopsy, which any medical college, government medical college, does free of cost, and most of us do just for 500 to 1,000 rupees. So in that case, patients are losing money by going to such quacks, going to such non-specialists, and they are losing their money, and then they come to us for the repair job. We do whatever we end up doing is not, we are not able to do complete justice because of the damage which has happened to the patients, and the damage which has happened the patients have to suffer for very long, and we are trying to help them out, and they see no results because of the previous damage, and all the burden is taken by the real specialists. So patients have to be aware of such situations, and they have to avoid going to such clinics and dental skin or specialists who are not skin specialists. So in that case, they have to save themselves. We have approached to all the districts, deputy commissioners, and we have met all the DHOs. We have given our complaints to them, and most youngest DCs, and they have taken a lot of action against these quacks. But what happens to that next? We definitely don't know. So political pressure is there. There are some money, because it's money running behind such industry. So a lot of political pressure and influence, undue influence will be there. I feel that judiciary and legislature have to take this very seriously, as this is going to damage the patient's lives, as Dr. Rajetha madam has already told that people have lost their lives, but the damage which is happening is in large scale. Many of the patients don't want to complain because of all these issues. Finally, we, as from patients' end, we end up giving complaints to the DCs and DHOs after seeing so much suffering from their end. So I request all the DHOs, DCs to have a look and form a serious legislative acts to curb all such quacks throughout the country. It's not just a problem of Bangalore, Chennai, or any top cities. It has pervaded through all the small cities. We have to take action against this.
Thank you so much, Dr. Akshay. The most interesting part is that we do not see any dermatologists trying to do dentistry. We don't see that dermatologists are going and becoming dentists. But we see dentists trying to become dermatologists. This is something which they never acknowledge, and their dental council also never acknowledges. And it is the failure of the dental council that they are not able to control their own dentists, and their dentists are trying to become dermatologists. And recently we had a very good guideline from the Association of Maxillofacial Surgeons, in which they said that no maxillofacial surgeon should write anything other than maxillofacial surgeon. They should not call themselves as dermatologists. They should not call themselves as specialists of skin diseases. They stop short of saying that they should not treat skin diseases, but that is understood that they don't have training in skin and they should not treat skin diseases at all. And in all consumer forum cases which have happened, the consumer forum has punished these maxillofacial surgeons for treating skin diseases. And after the NMC guidelines, the National Medical Commission guidelines, and the various guidelines of the various medical commissions, so the medical commissions are the competent bodies who will guide that who will treat skin and who will not treat skin. They have clearly mentioned who can do that, but still people are stubbornly not listening, and in the long run hurting their nation's health for a little bit of greed of theirs. We are not interested in practicing dentistry, but many dentists we have with proof they are only interested in practicing dermatology and not dentistry without taking the proper training. Now NEET, you can appear in any age. So you are free to appear for NEET, do your MBBS, then appear for NEET PG, do your MD in dermatology, and then become a dermatologist. But without that, doing it is cheating the nation and cheating the public. So with that, we go to our next panelist, Dr. Nitin Jain sir, who has the distinction of filing the first case against dentists in the Bombay High Court, which is still ongoing sub judice. So we'll speak carefully about it, but we will still speak about what are the progress in that case. So I would like to ask Dr. Nitin Jain how his fight has been. He's a hair transplant specialist, and how hair transplant has been the most encroached upon field by mostly by the dentists only, and also by other people who are not authorized to do it. So how his journey has been till now, and how has quackery impacted his field? What does he see in his field, and what led him to file a court case? When he filed the court case, he was all alone. He made an organization, made an association, filed the court case. Now IDVL is also helping him, IDDAQ is also helping him. But what led him to take such a strong step to go straight to the court? That is my question to Dr. Nitin. Please tell us.
Namaskar. This is Dr. Nitin Jain from Pune. I am the dermatologist and hair transplant surgeon and a proud member of IDDAQ and Anti-Quackery and Legal and Ethical Cell of IDVL. As everyone says that this is because of the quacks. So we need to understand who is a quack. We are talking a lot about the anti-quackery, the quacks and everything. The quack is a person who doesn't have a qualification to do that specialist job. That means if one pilot is there, he is driving the aeroplane. So what's new if he drives the car? But for the Indian law, as well as for the safety of the other people, as well as the people who are in the car and his own safety, he should have a training, proper training to drive a car. So like that, we have a compartments in the medical system. That is a MBBS, who will practice modern medicine. The dentistry, by the definition of dentistry, it is oral cavity and dentist and jaw. Then there is a homeopathy, who will be practicing homeopathy, and Ayurveda. But as we all know, in last 10 years or 15 years, the skin, beauty, hair treatments everything is booming up and it has been more than 6 billion industry. So everyone wants to be get jumped into the others field, and that's why this chaos had happened. I'm practicing hair transplant since 2007-8, when there was only 2 to 4 hair transplant surgeon was there in Pune, and in suddenly 2010-11 there are around 20 people, 20 different doctors from different field who are not dermatologists, who are not plastic surgeon, and they are doing the hair transplant. Few of the centers are like that. They refer to the patient to me, saying that go to Dr. Nitin Jain and get checked your all scalp, head, is it okay or not. After 5-7 patients, I got curious. What had happened to them? They are not checking, or they are not examining, they are not properly evaluating patient. So I come to know that there wasn't any doctor also. They are the technician. They are not having any kind of medical background. Only for the sake of some money, earning some money, they are doing the hair transplant. We come across lot many deaths in a hair transplant, which has been done by the non-qualified doctors. So after one of the death in Delhi, for the army person, Delhi has issued directives for the National Medical Council to formulate the guidelines for the hair transplant. Till that time, there was okay enough few quacks, unqualified people was there who are practicing into the hair transplant and hair related practices, which are so troublesome to the patient. But after the guidelines declared by the National Medical Council that only plastic surgeon and dermatologist can do the hair transplant, suddenly one circular comes up that from the DCI, that is Dental Council of India, that the oromaxillofacial surgeon can do the hair transplant. And that has pushed, and it has been so vague. Every dentist assumed that they are now authorized to do the skin, hair and dermatology practice, as well as can do the all complicated surgeries, complicated aesthetic treatments, as well as everything that can become under the plastic surgery. So this led to a huge influx of number of people practicing into the dermatology and hair. So we tried in 2015-16 to notify these kind of clinics to local authority, chief medical officer of Pune, and we have raided few of the centers. They got shut or so, but these quacks means these are the illegal people. And who are illegal people? They are strong-headed. They are backed up by some or other political, bureaucratic, or by some kind of financial backgrounds. So these are not law-abiding citizens. So don't expect that they will be just you will say that you are unqualified and you are not authorized, so you are supposed to shut down your clinic. They are unlawful people. That's why they are quack, and they are doing somebody other specialties work. That's why we thought of there should be a rule and regulation and law to regulate this kind of quacks. So we formed one association named Dynamic Dermatologist and Hair Transplants, and we filed a case in High Court, Mumbai, for the opposing to reversal this circular of oromaxillofacial surgeons can do the some kind of facial aesthetic and hair transplant procedure. Actually, our few of the bodies like DCI, Dental Council of India, or so doesn't want to act also. Otherwise, it would not have happened that few of the lives of engineers or soldiers have been lost into the hair transplant done by the BDS person. So they haven't given any guidelines to any normal BDS person that they can call them as a skin specialist, dermatologist, facial aesthetic physician, or trichologist or so. They never try to restrict them in any form till the point there is a huge uh, resistance from our dermatology department and Dr. Rajetha ma'am, and after that Telangana Medical Council, then Maharashtra Medical Council, then Karnataka Medical Council, Rajasthan Medical Council had issued some kind of guidelines. Then only they woke up and then they have issued the guidelines about no any dentist who are BDS only or MDS other than oromaxillofacial surgeon can practice any skin or hair disease. And we are fighting for the oromaxillofacial surgeon also should not do the skin and hair practices. This is the journey, and I urge all the Indian people to be little cautious and don't think about the money or don't be so lethargic, inertiatic that you don't ask for the doctor's credential. Before buying a t-shirt, you go on to the net, check everything and every feedback. Before buying a fridge or TV, you research around 3 to 4 days, and for getting a hair transplant done, for getting a Botox filler done, this is your skin, this is your front portion which is been publicly appeared. So you don't know who is the doctor treating you, who is the hair transplant surgeon who had done a hair transplant for you. That is not good. You thoroughly ask what are the degrees they have got, because MBBS means in the entire world there is only MBBS who gets the 2 bachelor degrees at a time. At a time we get Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery. There is no degree on the earth that is awarded simultaneously like MBBS. So it is one of the cream branch, MBBS. MBBS is of 4.5 years. After that, 1 year of intense internship is there. Then you have to once again appear for the entrance exam. And when you appeared for, scored good marks in entrance exam of post-graduation, let me tell you, dermatology and plastic surgery are the topmost branches. Only the people who ranked in first 200, 300 or almost maximum 3000 will, from the entire India, will get the dermatology. So after that, after 3 years of intense working in a medical college, after exit exam, you will get MD Dermat or MS surgery, and after MS surgery, another 3 years. So it is a journey of 9 to 10 years at least. It is not a acquisition, or it is not like a pen drive laga diya and everything has been copied paste. Okay, so it is a journey of 9 years to 12 years in a medical college, and it is a very hard study materials. It is not a weekend course or any Cardiff University, German University course degree that you will be labeled as a skin specialist or hair transplant surgeon. So be aware and ask your treating doctor the credentials, and that will help everyone.
Very nicely explained. Now, all our panelists have given their opinions, but now I'm going to put the hard questions one after the other to everyone. These are basically the questions which we receive from the patients. And since this podcast is for the patients, so everyone will give us their perspective about the questions which our patients have asked. So most of our innocent patients ask that, sir, you explain so much that this MBBS degree you have to do, then this dermatology MD or diploma or DNB you should do. But as a layman, how do we understand by looking at the board of a doctor? Because many times they say that the quack doctors have put up more degrees than actually the real doctor. Then the quack doctor has a bigger Instagram profile because on Instagram and Facebook they buy the likes and they boost their posts. And the quack doctors will come online in the singing and dancing type of videos and wearing provocative clothes and all kind of things they do, irrespective of the gender, they do that. So how does a layman, a normal patient, look at a doctor and understand whether they are quack or not? So again, we'll start with ladies first. So we'll start with Rajetha ma'am. Please educate our public.
That's actually a very tough question, unfortunately. So there are some red flags that should immediately alert you and make you suspicious. Things like cosmetologist. Now, cosmetologist is not a medical credential. So if you have someone who's calling themselves a cosmetologist, then please stay away from them. And for all my colleagues who are dermatologists and calling themselves the cosmetologists, it is sad and it is time to change that. The second thing is going to the internet and checking in the National Medical Council register. So there, if you have a registered medical practitioner, if this person has ever done MBBS, you should be able to find that person. But lots of times their postgraduate degrees are not really updated. So that is a bit of a problem. And which is why in truth, the safest way is to go through word of mouth, the old-fashioned way, and find out if, again, these kind of referrals, these quacks can have more referrals because they might be actually having influencers pretending to be patients and then pushing, attracting patients through them. So it is not an easy question. You have to be alert and look out for these kind of words. Also, one more important thing. The National Medical Commission has strictly forbidden doctors from endorsing products. So if you have a doctor or so-called doctor, somebody who's pretending to be a doctor, who's endorsing anything, it could be sunscreen, it could be face wash, it could be carpet wash, whatever it is, a real doctor, ethical doctor is not going to do that. So you might want to stay away from people who do.
Yes, so after Rajetha ma'am, we'll ask Dr. Varun to answer. What are your views on the same?
Yeah, that's a very, very difficult question because these days, in the world of pomp and show, everything is being washed off, and reality is sometimes, not looked upon. So reels are more popular than real. So my golden rule for patients whenever they go to a doctor, I tell them, don't fall for a degree like cosmetologist, esthetician, aesthetic. Just look at the basic degree. Is it MBBS or not? If it is MBBS, then always look what is written after MBBS. If it is written MBBS, MD, then you are almost there. If it is not MD, then you can look for the other degrees. But before looking at anything else, look for the MBBS first. Because if a person is MD and he is a dermatologist, he must be an MBBS for that. An MBBS person can only become MD or DVD or DNB. So MBBS is a must. If somebody has not mentioned MBBS on their paper, because some states even MD Ayurveda people are putting on MD homeopathy, people are putting MD dermatology, and they are not mentioning that they are MD in homeopathy or Ayurveda. So I always ask my patient to check MBBS first and then look for their secondary degree, and that saves most of the time.
Very nice. Dr. Akshay, what would you like to add to that?
So just adding a few points to that is just once you receive the prescription of such so-called cosmetologist or dermatologist, check for what he has written. MBBS, as Dr. Varun sir rightly pointed out, MBBS plus MD, DBL, all such things, and so on. And along with that, what kind of services they are giving and what kind of doctors do they have in their center. Sometimes you find only the center's name, you don't find doctor's name over it. But it is compulsory for all the centers to put their doctors who are treating in that centers to be displayed on the entrance of such centers. Along with that, they have to register in their respective district health department, and also it has to be displayed in the respective websites. One great thing which the National Medical Council has coming up is the National Medical Registry, which is still in the still in work mode. So it has to go long way ahead, but right now it's still in the planning mode, and further in future patients can avail the information of such doctors along with their degrees in these medical registry. So it has to be made more people friendly, where they can find easily the credentials of the doctors, and that would make a lot of change. Along with that, patients, they have to check their doctor's qualification, must and should. Without that, no prescription or treatment should be taken from them.
Dr. Karthik, sir, please.
Okay. First of all, I will ask you to check the prescription pad. In that, the doctor's name should be there. If the doctor's name is not there, then most probably it is not a doctor. Somebody else is using some name of the clinic and just writing a prescription. After the name of the doctor, there should be the registered number of the doctor. Every doctor has a registered number in the respective state council. So the registered number of the doctor should be there, and the state council name should also be mentioned. If it is there, majority of the times in where I am from, Tamil Nadu Medical Council, they have done a good job regarding this register. So if the register number, if you put it in the Medical Council website, you will see the degree. Whether it is MBBS and whatever post-graduation degree, the additional qualification is mentioned clearly there. If the qualification mentions dermatology, venereology or leprosy, they ask in specialist. If it is not mentioned, then they are not supposed to see. It holds good for anything and everything. If it is mentioned as cardiology, then only they are deemed cardiologist. If it is not mentioned, then they are not. They don't have any right to treat cardiology. So that the register number should be there, and whatever degree they have done will be there in the website of the Medical Council. That degree should match in the prescription. If it is not there, then it is difficult. And the beauty is you will get with the photograph. So you will be sure that whether the same person is treating you or not. And obviously, we are supposed to display that qualification from the Medical Council in our practice. So every doctor in their clinic is supposed to display that qualification from the Medical Council. It should mention as Karnataka Medical Council or Tamil Nadu Medical Council or Kerala Medical Council or Madhya Pradesh Medical Council, and then the qualification photograph of the doctor and the degree should be mentioned, including the additional qualification. If it is there in the clinic and if you see the same person inside the chamber, then you can be sure that the same person has the license to treat you as a specialist, and you can be a little bit safer compared to anyone who is, see, somebody, if I am having a license, I will not hesitate to show my license. If you don't have a license, then I will ask you a question, why are you asking? So otherwise, you can directly ask the doctor, are you a dermatologist? If they say, I can treat skin, no, they are not. If they say yes, immediately the answer should be yes. If the answer is not yes, if they are beating around the bush, then most probably they are not.
Nitin sir, your views?
So after hearing the Karthik Raja, they will say immediately yes, quacks also. So that may happen. But as every one of us know, the health is your own responsibility, right? So it's your, I once again will urge every person that shed up the inertia, get up from your chair and search about the credentials of doctor. Whoever, you remember the old and childhood days, your parents take you to the doctor who is having a busy OPD, whose hall waiting is flooded with all patients and everything. That doctor will not be on to the social media at all. So a good doctor may not be on social media at all. So whoever are on the social media, please check for their credentials also. Now it is mandatory for all of us, doctor also, to be on social media, but we don't endorse any product, just like Dr. Rajetha ma'am has said. Endorsement is by payment. Okay, so no doctor will be endorse the product. And I have come across many travel bloggers, many people who are chef and from hotel industry or so, and who are having a great followers in their account. They are just saying this sunscreen, this cream is very good. So don't fall for them and do check for the credentials.
So, as a summary, I would like to say our parent organization IDVL has done a very good job in which, as far as dermatology is concerned, they have put find your dermatologist, in which if you type the name of your doctor, the city comes up and the name of the doctor, if the doctor is qualified as a dermatologist or not, comes up. Secondly, every doctor who is practicing in that state has to be qualified and registered in that state. You can't be qualified in multiple states at one time. So for the patients, like Dr. Karthik Raja said, and it is compulsory for the doctor to display their degree and their registration. So the patient has to check whether the registration is from the, like in my case, Madhya Pradesh Medical Council or Maharashtra Medical Council, because then forgery is difficult. Most of these quacks are doing forgery by painting a fake picture, a fake degree, a fake registration. So basic registration of MBBS and then the secondary registration of post-graduation should be seen by every patient. And as everyone said, don't feel shy to ask your doctor, what is your qualification? How are you qualified? Are you qualified? Most of us don't feel angry. We display our degrees proudly in our OPDs. We display our graduation days photos. So all of those things can be replicated by some, but mostly if you pay attention, you can find out the quack. Secondly, I would agree also a bit, but I would beg to differ that if a doctor has a busy practice, that doesn't mean that he is not a quack, because these days many quacks, because of their low fees and because of their supposed magical skills of healing, have busy OPDs. So you cannot say that, sir, because nowadays quacks will try to influence people more. If a series on TV had come out recently in which the non-qualified person had a huge OPD and he said that everyone knows I am non-qualified, I don't want to take the name of that TV series, but it was based out of rural India, and in rural India if you go as a qualified doctor, maybe you find it difficult to make your OPD and the quack has a bigger OPD. But yes, many ethical doctors are not online and they still believe in word of mouth. That is a very good point, but we have to check. So now moving on to the next question. Many of our patients have asked that, sir, the big doctors sometimes don't have the time to see us. They don't give us enough time, or even to the extent that some people are a little bit. So moving on to the next question. Many patients ask us that the busy doctors are difficult to reach. They either don't give us the time, or they are hesitant or afraid to ask the busy doctors that, how do we get an appointment? How do we get to you? So in that case, some people who are more accessible, or as you might know, many of these quacks offer online consultations. So they fall into this trap because maybe the qualified doctors are not that accessible. So in that case, what do you suggest? Again, we'll start with Rajetha ma'am. What do you suggest?
So online consultations and physical consultations need to have the same rules. A prescription becomes even more important in an online consultation. So in that, again, you have to check for the MBBS, for the state registration. Only thing is, the person who is sitting in Mumbai can be doing an online consultation for someone who is sitting in Jabalpur. So you want to see whether the Maharashtra Medical Council number is displayed or not. And you will just have to be vigilant, because it's very, very difficult when smart people lie, and you just have to be vigilant.
Dr. Karthik Raja, what do you have? The question is that good doctors are difficult to access, and some of them don't have the time, or they might not. The patient might feel that I'll have to go and wait in the waiting for a long time, and that is why they fall into the traps of these quacks. So what have you to say?
The thing is, quacks are obviously more accessible because they will give lower price, they will be accessible, they will be mostly sweet talkers. They talk sweet, they will be not bothered about actual disease, they will be bothered about everything else. So they will be sweet talking with you for everything else, about obviously day, whatever, if the blouse is nice, all those things they will tell. The real doctor may not have the time for that, but still, say, if you want to go in a car, okay, will you wait for the one with the license, or will you take anyone who comes and let him drive your car? Like that, you have to take care of your health. It is your health. It is your right as well as your responsibility for your health. Just cannot let anyone handle your health. Okay. Even if somebody is little busy, there are many qualified doctors who are not busy also. Not necessarily you have to find that one doctor whom you want. There is another doctor who will be having his OPD nearby without not so much of patients because he is also not that social media active or he is not that tech savvy. So you can find those people. They are there. I don't think in this era everybody is 100% busy and there is not even OPD. You are in India, you can see any specialist in one day.
Very nice.
Everywhere. Any specialist in single day. Max to max maybe next day. That is all everywhere in India. It is not like in US you have to wait for 6 months. Even then there is not much of quackery there. Here the facts are there because they will do immediately, they will be more sweet talking rather than actually treating.
Very nice. So being a sweet talker and being always accessible can also be a red flag which you can see that the person is not qualified. Dr. Varun, please.
Yeah, the question is very important because I have seen this trend in few metro cities, especially in Delhi and around, where a senior consultant, they sometimes have a tendency to keep restricted number of appointments, and sometimes because of their personal reasons also. And due to that, what happens is their OPD swells up and their appointments, are delayed. So you may get an appointment of after 7 days or maybe sometimes 15 days. There are people I know. So in that case, yes, it depends on the patient completely that he wants to show another competent specialist who is not having that kind of busy OPD. It is their sweet wish if they want to show it to a government hospital. It is their sweet wish if they want to show to a quack. Because you actually cannot, force them. But then you have to understand in a countries having variations like India, there are people who are willing to eat at a 5-star restaurant. There are people who are willing to eat at a street side restaurant, and there are people who do not have enough to eat at many times. So there are varied factors involved in this. Senior consultant, very high fees. Patient wants to show but cannot show because of the very high fees. So yes, you can find competent specialists at a much lower rates. And still, if you don't want to spend that much of money, go to a government setup. Government is providing excellent specialists at free of cost. But don't fall in the trap of quacks. Because if you don't want to spend even a single rupee, every state in country is providing free healthcare in India. So go to a good government hospital, spend some time and get a good specialist care at zero cost.
Very nice. Dr. Akshay, what are your views?
So the main influence is because of the social media, which has happened. You want instant food, you want instant consultation, you want everything instant. But the issue here is of health. If you miss food, a day passes by, it will not make much difference. But when the issue is about health, you have to spend some time, you have to spend some energy and go have a physical consultation. If not possible, then you go for an online consultation. Never a physical consultation can replace online consultation. Even though India has a lot of guidelines like telemedicine guidelines, many guidelines are already existent. But the problem here is who is following. So when there is social media influencer dances before social media with inappropriate dresses and inappropriate behavior, patients tend to see on social media. And they would like to ask, which sunscreen should I use? Which cream should I use? I have pigmentation on my face. And they tend to ask such questions in their messages, private messages, and ask for prescription. And a whole nexus is behind this. And your skin is not tested, and you yourself is not aware of what is your skin type, what is your actual skin disease, and what kind of medicines you need. Such things are not possible in most of the online social media platforms. There are some teleconsultation platforms which are available for doctors where they can avail the services, but that has a lot of shortcomings where you can't do complete diagnosis. You give 100%, any doctor for that matter cannot give 100% on teleconsultation. If it is followed, they can go for an online consultation, and preliminary consultation should happen physically. As all the panelists have said, you have umpteen options from the best, like how best restaurants to any ordinary hotels. Likewise, we have premium doctors to even ordinary best of the best doctors are available in government sector. And you can avail the services from free of cost to any extent. Services is not not at all compromised in countries in India, especially from qualified doctors.
I would like to just add to that. First of all, he's correctly said that online consultation can never replace a physical consultation, because we are physicians, we examine you completely. We are not only seeing at your skin, it's not a spot diagnosis. We do a general examination. Many times we palpate your lesion also. There are many things which we do. Secondly, you have to understand that if a physician needs to examine you properly, take your history, it will take some time. So if it takes 5 or 10 minutes to see a patient and a doctor has to see 20 patients and you are 21st on the list, then you have to be patient during that time. As Karthik sir clearly said that in most cities you can see the consultant the same day. A point which you all are missing is that most metropolitan and even tier 2 cities now have private medical colleges which actually urge the patients to come to their OPDs because they need a certain level of OPD for the NMC recognition. So they actually motivate patients to go to their OPD where even the medicines are free. So all you need to do is find the right place. And I agree, there are young people, so you should look for young practitioners who may be more, they are qualified, but who may be, more academically better because they've just passed out and they are more up to date. I'm not saying experienced people are not good, but in case you are not getting an appointment to some big doctor, then you can even show to a younger person, but don't fall into the trap of the quack. So I'll ask Dr. Nitin.
One important thing I want to make about online consults. Actually, telemedicine guidelines in India are very, very clear that many medicines cannot be prescribed during an online consult, especially if it is the initial consult. The number of medicines that can be prescribed are basic ones. So if you want treatment for your skin, first of all, you can't be examined properly. Second, there's so many things that cannot even be prescribed legally. So why bother? Just go physically to somebody who's there.
Very nice.
And who's qualified.
This is a very important point ma'am has made, because most of us doctors also don't know which are the medicines which we can prescribe online and which we can't prescribe online, and we end up prescribing many things which we should not prescribe online. So let's not get into the vicious cycle of taking medicines which the doctor has written without properly examining you. So that's a very good advice from a senior consultant like ma'am, that when there is a physical option available, don't go for online consultation, especially when it's the first consultation. Follow up, maybe you can go. Please, Nitin sir, let us have your views on the same.
So this is if the busy doctor or a good doctor is busy and you can't get a appointment for that, you are having same qualified doctors in country. Our National Medical Council has increased number of seats of every department, dermatology, surgery, everything, and there are ample amount of MBBS and MDs available in each and every city, so you will get a good qualified doctor. Let me add what you are trying to say. The corporates which are doing the online consultation and selling their medicines, they are the ones who is having much of the chaos or much of the large number of quackery they are doing.
That we'll discuss later.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So that was, I stopped you in the middle because that is exactly our next question. So I didn't want you to drift there so that the question becomes diluted. So many of our patients now, these are two questions in one I'm putting up because we have limited time on the podcast. The questions are, I have about a list of 25 questions, but I'm combining the two questions. So many people asking recently, Amazon has come up with Amazon Consult. Earlier they were doing some other online pharmacies also, that if you buy medicines for them, they were prompting you that they'll give you one free consultation. So when we at IMA inquired about these consultations, many of them were just using MBBS doctors posing as cardiologists or dermatologists just to copy your prescription and then give a follow-up prescription. Secondly, all these online platforms, if you go to Just Dial, Practo, Liberate, we even served them notices way back in 2018. So they don't list the actual qualified doctors, they just list you if you pay them the money. So the best dermatologists, let's say we are sitting in Jabalpur right now, so the top 5 names which come up as best dermatologists, none of them are qualified dermatologists. So the patients are asking us that how do they save themselves from this marketing gimmick, because it is very lucrative, that 100 rupees consultation from a dermatologist free with your talcum powder which you bought on Amazon, or you bought these medicines for your mother, now you get a free cardiology consultation for your mother because you bought these medicines. So why the government is not doing anything is another question. But this kind of, I should say, predatory marketing tactics, wherein these big giants are now not happy with eating the jobs of smaller workers. They want to come into the medical sector and give 100 rupees and 200 rupees consultation. So what are your views on this? So again, we'll start with Rajetha ma'am and then all of us will follow. Rajetha, please tell us.
So predatory marketing is a very important term that people need to understand. And that seems to be the way the market forces are driving many of these corporates. And people should resist if money is a concern. Now, we in India are so fortunate that we get such excellent healthcare in the time durations that we are able to provide at the cost that they are there. And we should be able to spend whatever we can. And if you can't, then you have the medical colleges from the government sector and the private sector. So why fall into these kind of traps? Again, all these online consultations should never replace a physical consultation. In an emergency, as a last minute thing, maybe a stopgap, yes, but not beyond that.
Varun.
Yeah, coming to the predatory practices of these corporate houses, telemedicine guidelines were formulated way back, around 3 to 4 years back. During the time of COVID, telemedicine was publicized by the government itself, and there is also a portal of Government of India where you can get telemedicine consultation anytime you want, from the senior doctors also, from Sabdarjang and AIIMS. But the problem is that whenever there is a rule is drafted, there are people always ready to take advantage of those rules and regulations for their benefit. So it was basically intended for benefit of poor people, and free of cost telemedicine services were started by Government of India. But then came the role of private players, and private players started to manipulate these things, in a guise of providing cheaper healthcare to the patients. What they are doing is they are selling medicines online through online pharmacy, and they are kind of diverting the funds through other methods rather than taking consultation, appropriate consultation that should be taken for a specialist. They are taking funds through other routes, and patients who are unknowingly becoming the product because they think that we are getting this for cheaper rate or we are getting it for free. So they are not getting the point that whenever something is free, then you are the product. So in the whole process, patient is getting manipulated. Sometimes they are asked to go for blood test from a particular lab. Sometimes they are asked to take medicines from a particular pharmacy. Like today, I was at airport and I went to a Guardian pharmacy, and when I looked into the shelf, there were a whole lot of multivitamins and calciums and Shilajits and all by the brand of GNC, that is Guardian Pharmacy brand. So they were selling their own brands from their own stores, and they were also claiming that you won't get it anywhere else except our pharmacy. So these are the kind of practices corporates bring in, and initially they may feel very lucrative at cheaper rates. They are providing consultation, but later on, when people come to know that they are in a trap, now they cannot get out of it. So this is how things work. This is how they are providing cheaper services.
Dr. Akshay.
Much agreeing to what all has been said. So these predatory marketing has two facets. One thing is from the patient's side. We have to think about patients first. So what was the telemedicine guidelines and these online prescription guidelines happened was, so whenever you are buying some medicines from online platforms, most of the medicines which are prescription medicines, you have to upload the prescription and avail the medicines. But these people of the corporate industries who want to take a deviated route, and they want to keep a MBBS graduate in their own system, and they would like to bring upon their prescription which they are selling. Very important drugs like oral minoxidils and many other drugs have been openly marketed by the corporates, saying that you will have a free consultation along with this, and you will be getting the medicines also, it will be delivered to your home. So it's an indirect nexus where you give a doctor from your end, make him write a prescription on minoxidil, and you sell your drug through your own platform, and you make a nexus. And the second facet, very unfortunately, is we are doctors. Then maybe I'm sorry to say, the new generation doctors are not aware of ethics. you being such a qualified person, you end up doing such kind of activities, which is going, you're not going to do justice for the patients. And now, how many number of patients in such prescription, how many number of the viewers who try to approach such platforms and take the prescription, how many have been declined? How many have been examined in real? And how many have been prescribed? 100% of such companies will give 100% of results to all the, they'll show that there will be 100% results, and all of them will be given such medicines. So this has to be regulated, such, backdoor treatment should be avoided, and this is very alarming situation in our country.
Dr. Karthik,
I want to start with what he has said regarding the oral minoxidil. See, first of all, we need to understand advertisements. Have we ever come across a product that works as advertised? Not even Harmik. It doesn't work as advertised. So advertisements are exaggerations. People have to understand that advertisements will always be exaggerations, and especially when it comes to your health, all those people who are advertising 100% results are absolutely lying on your face. Okay, there is no 100% result in any medical literature. Okay, that is number one. Minoxidil is a drug which can cause low BP, has been prescribed online. Using a doctor's registered number, we're not sure whether he knows the patient or not, we don't know. Without checking BP, it can cause hypotension, that is a drug for BP, which will definitely cause low BP. Without even examining, they have been given left, right and center by two online brands which claims to grow hair 93%, 98%, 88%, 87%. You know what the companies are talking about. So this is absolutely wrong, illegal. They are just one court case away, including the doctor's register number that is being used. Okay, they have no right to write minoxidil without checking the patient. Oral minoxidil. That is a crime. And there is another drug which should be written only by dermatologists for skin. That is also being misused by these online practitioners or online aggregators of health. This is another important component. Skin doctors, if you go to them, you may see that it just took 1 minute for them to diagnose and give you prescription. But in that 1 minute, they are evaluating a lot about from the way you walk in, from the way you sit, the way your face looks, how your attitude is. All those things are assessed by a real doctor in real time when you go into the OPD. So first consultation for any concern should always be in person, or it can be postponed to 1 or 2 days. In the meantime, you can use some remedies. They will not be considered as prescription, they should be considered as remedies for a time being. A proper consultation should be happening only in physical presence. It may not seem like much, but it actually is much. So never trust online medication, never trust online advertisements. Advertisements, not for your health. You buy a phone based on advertisement, then you can review that is bad. But if you buy something and use based on advertisements and your health goes bad, you won't be there to review it. That's it.
So everything is covered, but I will add up one point. The influencers, the TV actors, movie actors, cricketers, Rajkumar, Ranveer Singh, everyone who is advertising this kind of healthcare system, you have to be cautious about that healthcare system.
They will not be using it.
That they are only promoting because of money. They are getting the money and they are just advertising it. They are not having anything related to that. May it be our cricketer, Yuvraj Singh, who had advertised somewhere else out of India. So that somebody is advertising this influencer. Our society is so much after the pastry culture that they think anything who is pastry and says something about it, it is authenticated, it is already cross-checked, and it is the permanently good thing. So that should be avoided. That is my take home for the public.
I want to make one point. When these kind of corporates get access to your health information, actually the most important, most valuable commodity in this whole thing is the data. So you want to tell them your blood sugars, your hormonal levels, your BP levels, all these things. And then next thing you know is that you're going to see ads on these kind of platforms for, let's say, low salt or a cholesterol lowering some supplement or some random thing, because this is valuable. So we doctors treat patient information as sacred. This right to privacy is supreme in our minds. And are these corporates going to treat them the same way? Aren't they going to be misutilizing these kind of health information? We all know the answers.
Definitely, obviously, they're going to see advertisements for if you have ordered for low BP medication in one platform, definitely in next minute you are going to get advertisement for an oil which is going to reduce BP.
See, so the basic thing which I want to tell all the patients and all the viewers are, medicine cannot be business, because if medicine is business, then every patient is a commodity. So now if a patient is a commodity, I will need to do the maximum tests on that patient and give the maximum medicines to that patient to extract the maximum profit out of that patient. Now if you are extracting the maximum profit out of that patient, what you are actually doing is harming the body and killing the patient. So if you are going to give your body and your health into the hand of such greedy people, then not even God will be able to help you in this case, because you are yourself walking into this trap. So whoever is saying 100% result, whoever needs Yuvraj Singh to advertise a medicine, do you need any one of us to advertise a cricket bat or a ball? Because we are not cricketers, we are doctors. And why has the medical council forbidden us from advertising medicines is the same reason which I explained. Because that is a conflict of interest. You start advertising something which you can write, then you'll write that for every patient. So that is something which is so simple to understand. So we've been recently joined by another panelist, Dr. Avinash Pravin, who's from Kanyakumari. And imagine why he became late, because us doctors are always upgrading our knowledge. So he was taking care of a workshop which we were having in Jabalpur, one of the first of Madhya Pradesh academic workshop, and a laser workshop after that, an injectable workshop. And he was the coordinator, so he was arranging for the entire event, and he was making sure that everyone gets back to the hotel. So thank you so much, Avinash, for Dr. Avinash for joining us. And so now the next question will start with him. I'll pose the question which the patient asked us, and then we'll go on to the other panelists. So the question is about artificial intelligence in dermatology. So two fields which the patients also feel are going to be very much affected by artificial intelligence is dermatology and radiology. So patients are asking that, doctor, if we send a photo of our lesion to one of these online platforms and they use artificial intelligence and so many algorithms and knowledge of so many doctors to diagnose it and then give us a prescription. So how is it that we should not trust that prescription, and why should we trust your prescription? Some of the patients were saying that. So because we are specialists of dermatology, let us answer the dermatological aspect first, then we'll answer the radiology aspect also. We have a presentation in tomorrow's conference with regards to the same. So we'll start with Dr. Avinash. Dr. Avinash, please tell us what you want to say.
Yes, sir. As you said, it has become a burning issue. Nowadays, previously people were using Google. They just Google it and they come. Now they are using AI. For example, the patient is having acne, pimples. So they are using which is the best serum for acne. So the AI will give the top 5 serums. But the patient doesn't know acne has different types, shades and grades. If it is acute, very severe acne, these kind of serums is not going to work. If some hormonal issue is there, the hormone issue is triggering the acne, these kind of serums which AA is suggesting, all these serums won't work. So, as previously said, coming to the dermatologist, knowing the grade of acne and its sequelae will give them a better chance of knowing the severity of acne. Because today, the advertisements seen in Instagram, social media, they say, you see results in 2 days or 10 days, something which they do, so patient will buy that also. And nowadays, if you see, they use AI for everything. You give a prescription, they are checking the all the medicines in AI. In the AI, what will happen? All the side effects also will be shown first. So as a doctor, they have studied almost 8 years, 8.5 years. A dermatologist is a medical branch, like radiology, like surgery. So the importance of dermatology also is losing in public view. They are like, it is only skin, so we can play with it. It is not that. So a dermatologist will decide what kind of acne and what is the treatment duration and how long the treatment should be maintained.
Oh, thank you so much. So next we'll switch to Dr. Akshay. Dr. Akshay, what are your views on the same?
Oh, so regarding the social media.
AI.
Yes, yes. So AI, which is very quite confusing, as Dr. Avinash rightly pointed out. So you give what is you put your symptoms, your signs. These days you used to Google it. So you used to Google ask like I have this issue. What is so most of the times funny is said that it shows that you have cancer. Likewise, AI is not completely an expert which can give you exact condition what you're facing or exact treatment what it can be given. A simple acne can be another infection, completely a different infection, and generally we call it as pimple. Every other patient calls any other a papule which is appearing a small round elevated structure as a pimple. So if you type as a pimple, you will get all misinformation which is not appropriate for the treatment. It will be misdiagnosed, and the treatment is also given in a wrong method. So what AI does, it can only suggest you, it can only give you a knowledge, but it can never replace a physical expert's consultation, which is gained after wisdom of 10 plus years of education which we get in medical school. So it can never replace. AI can only suggest you things. Even with our clinical textbooks, if we see dermatological textbooks, one lesion can represent 100 kind of diseases, and one condition can have different 5 to 10 kind of presentations. So it can only come with a physical assessment and side lab. We do small tests which are in our clinics. We do in our medical colleges, which we do, and then we confirm. Even with so much of experience, we are not able to, just with a fraction of a second, we are not able to do diagnosis. AI is still in its preliminary stage, can not replace the wisdom of dermatologists.
Dr. Rajetha.
AI can not only not replace the wisdom of dermatologists at this point, it can never replace them, because AI might be great at visual diagnosis. At this point, it is not great at treating melanin-rich skin which is brown. It's being trained only on white skin so far. So if you want to differentiate between a mole and a skin cancer called melanoma, then AI is probably going to be as good as a non-specialist at this point, but not as good as a specialist. Even if it does become as good, it is never going to be good at holistic diagnosis. Visual diagnosis versus holistic diagnosis, these are two different things. So to train AI to ask all the right questions, and the problem with AI is it kind of responds to what prompts you give. So whatever you are leading it to, that is where it is going to take you to. And then in India, of course, anybody can buy most drugs, including antibiotics, antifungals, painkillers, everything without prescription. So that is why in India we need to be very, very wary of AI, because our regulations are poor. So AI to supplement, to clear doubts, to maybe cross-check a prescription, I would not mind. But at this point, in a country with so many qualified people, it will be very sad if AI is being used to replace any specialist, and certainly not a dermatologist.
Dr. Varun.
My take is slightly different from all the other panelists. I think AI is the next biggest scam after cosmetology scam. Because AI is something which was developed as a language model mostly. And a basic inherent property of a language model is, like we teach a small child. A child is born, and then we teach that child that this is 1, this is 2, this is white, this is black, and so on and so forth. We develop the memory, and we develop the vocabulary of the child. Same way a language model learns, be it ChatGPT or be it any other AI model. And when they learn and they keep improvising, then their memory is built. Suppose AI model is being taught that a small dot present on the face is acne. And then, God forbid, if somebody comes with some other typical diagnosis, or there is some other kind of diagnosis in which a red kind of papule is formed on the face, it will always be diagnosed as acne in that case. So visual diagnosis fail there. Secondly, when there are variations which are beyond the capability of comprehension of the AI, like somebody has applied steroids, somebody has applied another irritant materials, and you have different kind of presentation, AI will fail because AI has never learned that. So I don't think AI can ever replace the real doctor, especially in a country like India where, as I told you, there are thousands or maybe millions of permutations and combinations of treatment by quacks already done when patients actually reaches us. So for us, it's a scam, nothing more.
I was about to say that it is a scam. It is not intelligent at all. It is just a permutation. See, before they used to calculate using numbers, hands and fingers, and calculator came, it made it easy to the people who know how to do the calculation. Okay? Then the computer came, it made work for the people easy for them who are actually struggling to do certain amount of work, it computed faster. It is not true intelligence, it is based upon the permutations and combination of the input that it is given. It doesn't think, it cannot think. There is no intelligence involved, it is a complicated permutation combination probability maker. It is a larger language model which understands the language a little better than Google. Simple as that. Google is a search engine, it searches based upon what is there. It reads the text and understands it better because it has been trained to understand it and reformulate it. You can use AI to reformulate only those things. If you ask for the prescription, it is going to reformulate based upon the permutation combination which has already been there. It is not going to do any invention, it is not going to do anything more than that. Calling that as an intelligence itself is wrong.
Right. Doctor.
As of now, AI, no. If you can replace a real friend with a virtual friend, so it can be for you as a dermatologist. If you can't replace a real live friend beside me with virtual friend who is away and who may not be existed, for them the AI dermatologist can be worked.
So to summarize, I would like to point out a few things. Recently a Times of India article came out just a few days ago in which a person listening to AI had taught AI, like all of us are saying you can teach AI, had taught AI to say that the lump in her breast was not cancerous. While it was cancerous, she ended up with stage 3 cancer when she went to the doctor. Secondly, I don't like calling it artificial intelligence. I like to call it assisted intelligence because it is just there to assist you. Now, all of our doctors' data is not open for the AI to read, and as it is, AI doesn't read PDFs, it only reads raw data. So our doctors' data is not there, it's not, most of our articles are not open source. It is, you have to subscribe to that, which AI has no access to. So it does not have access, and even if it has access, it cannot understand what is written in those articles, but it requires a certain amount of knowledge to understand that. It is said the eyes cannot see what the mind does not know. So AI cannot comprehend what is written over there. That is why we are, and if you ask ChatGPT or Perplexity, can we trust you to make a diagnosis? You see what answer comes up. AI will say that don't trust us. When AI is saying that, because if they say trust us, then they can be taken to court. But still, if people go on AI, they can end up with disastrous results. So please save yourself. Please don't do that ever. Now I am coming up with the last question of this session. Your questions are so many that we'll probably do another session very soon because already we are in the middle of a conference and we need to do our other clinical work also. So today's last question is based on patients' amazement at a fact that you doctors don't come online. You doctors, ethical doctors, don't like making reels, don't like making videos, as all of us are saying. And the quack people are flooding our Instagram reels with videos. They are giving us all wrong information. So what is the fault of the average patient that they cannot access good information because they are being flooded with bad information? So I agree to certain points that there are websites and databases where you can go for accurate medical information, but the patients are not asking that. They are asking that we are opening our Instagram profile and all fake information is being fed to us. So why are you good doctors not taking up that space of giving us real medical info?
We are prohibited from prescribing online. They are expecting prescription for free online. So that we cannot do. Our ethics as well as the medical and morals also doesn't allow. Without seeing a patient, I am not willing to write anything. I am not leading them into wrong medication. I don't want them to buy something just because it said so, unless until I see them. What is a good face wash? Whatever I see you when you come to me along with the other medication, which face wash is going to work for you is a good face wash, that point of time. That cannot be a one face wash. So if they expect that kind of answers from doctors, that is not going to be possible because we are not allowed to do so and we will never do so. Point number one. Point number two, not everybody has the time to do that. Okay, and inclination to do that. But the problem is, it is there, patients are there, information is being there. It is now our imperative duty to do that also. So we have to do that. We cannot run away from that. We have to start doing that. Give right information. We have to flood. We have to eradicate the misinformation by flooding into the right information.
Very nice. Dr. Akshay?
So health-related information by any doctor is regulated by Code of Ethics, as well as the advisory from the Advertisement Authority of India. So we can't do such advertisements. Doctors cannot advertise anything. As I said, both the laws are very strict. You can't do advertisement. Only we can do is dissipation of knowledge. And it specifically says about public health. When it is of public health, yes, doctors have come up in many ethical doctors have already there in the platforms, which are they are giving information about hygiene, information about your diet, information about nutrition. All those things doctors are already doing. Take the information which is non-prescription manner. Like you can't expect a doctor to stand before camera and dance and do reel about 10 serums, 20 shampoos, 30 creams, and you expect that to work. It's definitely not possible. Either the doctor is doing, or any person for that matter is doing only for the attention of the public and to fool people. Other than that, I have no other say.
Dr. Rajetha?
So now there are actually enough doctors out there on Instagram, on YouTube who are giving good information. The problem is they don't get the followers. They don't get that many views that they deserve. It is up to the lay public and patients to choose whom they follow, to look out for the red flags, to unfollow those people, look out for the credentials. See, we might not be packaging them attractively, we might not be catering to popular demand, like product recommendations and giving out 5 creams for dark underarms. Now I am thinking, if somebody has dark underarms, is it a bacterial infection, is it a fungal infection, is it insulin resistance, is it a cancer which is causing insulin resistance? So this is how I am thinking. So there is no way even at gunpoint that I can tell you, not even 5 creams, I can't tell you 1 cream also. So please look out, unfollow the bad ones and choose to follow the right ones and boost this, because the ethical ones are not pumping money into the algorithms. So how can a good doctor who's ethical ever beat a quack who's unethical? It's not a fair competition actually.
Dr. Nitin sir?
Say no to the social media. That is the best way. For your health, you don't rely on to the social media, don't rely on to the Instagram. If you are for your children's education, if you are relying on to the Facebook or Instagram, they will learn through the WhatsApp University, then you can rely on to the Instagram for that. That is the I can tell you for the social media.
Dr. Varun, sir?
Yeah, that's a very interesting thing happening these days. Many people watching these Instagram reels and Facebook, shorts, and coming to us and telling you, doctor, I saw this and this shampoo, this and this serum, and was promoted by somebody. Then a very common example I give to them is that, have you traveled by any roadways bus? Previously when there were no Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, on roadways buses, these people used to sell medicines, medicated balms and churans and some kind of tablets for headache, for backache, and they will tell you all kind of stories that you use this particular medicine and everything will be gone. No headache, no backache. So I tell them that now these days, these Instagram and Facebook is the new roadways bus. The government buses, where the free advertisement is always allowed. So if you want to take it, they'll take you for a ride. I mean, these Instagram, Facebook reels will take you for a ride and they will extract money out of you. And if you really you are concerned about your health, go to a doctor, get a proper prescription and get yourself treated. Don't wait for the social media doctor.
Dr. Avinash?
Yeah, actually, in social media, if you see off late, a lot of doctors are portraying a lot of fake degrees. I saw a reel where a doctor is telling that she is a aesthetic doctor, and she is telling dermatologist will do with only diseases, and she does with all the aesthetic procedure like beautifying, Botox, fillers, or whatever it is. And when I went to her profile and verified her degree, it is not recognized as a specialist as a degree in India. So her degree, she has put some UK, USA course and all. So people also have to verify the degrees, have to know which is the correct degree. They can go online and verify with the registration number, because now in Instagram they put in bio itself, UK, Germany, USA, all the flashy things. So people feel that, okay, these doctors are from India, so these are doctors are from abroad. So these kind of fake hype these people create, and all the misinformation about ethical doctors they are telling in Instagram, and these people are all promoting on this stuff. So this is kind of getting little complicated also. So I think social media regulations also should come for doctors as such. So that is the need of the medical council has to see, has to regulate these people, because otherwise we do one reel, they will do something which is 100 times more attractive. This is what is happening. So I think we need regulations big time.
So basically the take home message is that we as a society need to fight against this social media menace, because a person who is trying to sell something which is fake to you can boost his reels, his or her reels also, and can go to any extent to sell that product. They don't care whether it works or not. As very rightly said by Dr. Karthik and Dr. Rajetha ma'am, that a busy clinician might not have the time to make so many reels and might not have the time to sing and dance their whole act to you. And as rightly said by Dr. Avinash, that some of the doctors also who are indulging in these kind of things, and why it is bad in dermatology, because many products in dermatology are on the borderline of being OTCs, over-the-counter products. So they confuse the patient by prescribing drugs which are Schedule H drugs as OTC drugs, all those things. So the best suggestion would be, do not use social media for your health. Please invest in your health. My closing statement on behalf of all my esteemed panelists is that in India, it is cheaper to see a dermatologist than to buy a popcorn at a multiplex. That is how economical our consultations are. And if you are in a tier 2, tier 3 cities, your consultation of the doctors is less than what you pay to the cab driver or the auto rickshaw wala to take you to that place. That is the condition of the consultation fees. That's how low we've kept it, because we believe in numbers. We still are a country of 150 crore odd people, approximately 140 to 150 crore people. So because of that population, we've been able to keep our consultations very economical and very budget friendly. And many doctors like myself, we've posted on our OPD that if you cannot afford our fees, we are ready to see you for free. That is the kind of things which we propagate, that if you are poor or there is some reason, we will see you for free. And as Rajetha ma'am and Varun sir and many people have said, that in every city there are multiple government medical colleges and private medical colleges which will have qualified doctors who will see you for free. So please show yourself to a qualified doctor, to a qualified dermatologist, and not to anyone. So in the end, I'll ask all our panelists to give their closing statements, and it's a wrap up today for this show from IDDAQ. But we'll keep making such informational videos for all of you viewers and patients. And now, as Rajetha ma'am said, it's up to you to promote us, to boost such videos so that we reach, our voice reaches the right people. We are not sponsored by anyone. We are going to try our best not to run any ads on YouTube. And we are going to try our best that all of us next time have a declaration. We'll post the declaration on the description that none of this was funded by anyone. This is all funded by ourselves. And it is just for patient safety. We have no other interest in mind other than your patient safety. So we'll start with Rajetha ma'am with her closing remarks, and then we end the show one after.
Your healthcare provider needs to be authentic. Check the credentials. When you go to a doctor, find out what kind of a doctor they are.
Dr. Akshay.
I request the government and all the authorities to bring a strict action against all the quacks, especially in terms to the dermatology and aesthetic practices, and all the medical council to take strict action against them. And patients have to take the responsibility of their own health, especially the skin and hair. Thank you. Dr. Nitin.
Be responsible citizen, report the quacks, don't be fear of asking the credential to the doctors, and be safe at searching out good quality doctors.
Dr. Varun, sir?
Quackery is, like termites. They are eating our society and our country from within inside. And it is a duty of every citizen of this country, even government, administration, and all the doctors, that we should fight with this termite, we should eradicate it. Unless we do it, we will not rest. And let us all come together to do this as a duty. It has to be done urgently, because otherwise our healthcare system will be shattered.
Dr. Karthik, sir?
Yes, in fundamental rights, right to health is there, which means you have the right to get treatment from a qualified person. It is in your constitution. So if you are not getting that, you have to go to the authorities and ask for your right. It is your basic fundamental right. So if you are not getting, if you are being treated by a quack, you have to report it and the government has to take action. It is public health menace. It shatters the health system by creating distrust among the doctors and the public, and they will claim whatever they want to claim, and if you are not able to achieve it, then they will obviously talk bad about you. Your health, your right, get it done.
Dr. Avinash?
So basically your Insta, Facebook is not your doctor, it is only for entertainment purpose. So keep that way, that's all.
So thank you so much everyone for the patient hearing and patient listening. So now we end this session over here, and with a promise that we'll soon return with the part 2 of this, because many questions of our patients are still left. And also we'll bring various languages in Hindi, in Telugu, in Malayalam, in all the languages we'll bring this kind of a patient education initiative. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone.